But you know what's interesting? We haven't spoke about this too much on Market Mondays, but it is a financial conversation. And I was at St. John's yesterday. So Ian Jack, Captain Jack,
back home.
So
BX, what's up?
You know, he was somebody that actually was a 5-star recruit basketball and went to North Carolina. And he's from the Bronx. And he did 1 year in North Carolina, and he's transferring to St. John's. The reason why I brought him up is that I'm at St. John's yesterday. I'm just looking, and St. John's is a beautiful campus in Queens. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, man, Captain Jack's coming to St. John's for $2 million. They put $2 million, gave him a $2 million NIL deal. I'm like, man, he's making more money than anybody on the campus outside of Rick Pitino. That's crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's
a
crazy.
good point.
Like, you got a 19-year-old sophomore that's coming on, and I'm just looking at all of the prestigious buildings, all of the clergy, everything. And like I said, I mean, Rick Pitino's making the most money. But after that, you got a 19-year-old who's, if he's not the second highest paid individual on campus, he's at least top 10. So the next question that I have for that is, for these kids that's getting NIL money, what financial steps should they be doing, them and their parents, to make sure that they're not blowing this bag?
It's always percentages for me. So it's not the percentage of money. Like for him specifically, you got to put half of the money away because he's already lit. Like a lot of times,
index funds.
I would do half index funds and then probably half Microsoft and then Visa for sure. Of course, Bitcoin, if you can, great. But I think it's an easy win because especially just on Microsoft alone, just own an open AI, whether they choose to be bought out or they become public. I don't know if they'll allow that. But that probably, I said at the top of the decade, it's going to be, I think, stock of the decade. And that's panning out to be true. So let's say if he put 500,000 into them, he's probably going to make $8 million off of that probably by year 9. Easy win, regardless of what happens, whether he goes to the league, what his contract situation is. What I try and tell any player, like, think of it as you get your same salary in the NBA or NFL without having to play more years. So you'll spend $500,000-$600,000 on a woman down the line trying to get out of a situation, or you can put some of that capital in now and have it grow for you, and you never have to worry about what's going on off the field. So yeah, I will put half away. So I will put $1 million away into, I will split up between Microsoft, VOO, third Visa, fourth Bitcoin. Let it run in 9 years. You should have $8 or $9 million easily, and that's not even including the dividends. And don't give all your money away to women.
And that's the thing. And that's the thing too, because it's like, this is an important conversation because, you know, I'm in the space. So what's happening now is that you having agents that take their cut, but then there's like street agents. There was always street agents, but now there's street agents that's brokering NIL deals, and they're taking anywhere from 5 to 20% of NIL
easily
deals. So parents, it's vitally important. A few things. A middleman is never really needed, but if you do have a middleman, you got to negotiate that contract to as low as possible. And to the kids, because you're seeing a lot of kids that's driving Lamborghinis and all of these cars on campus. Like you said, invest your money. You getting $3 million, you buying a Lamborghini, that's $500,000.
And you're saying worth that.
And you still got to pay taxes on the money. Then, like, so I get it. You're 18, but like you said, if you put that money into an investment in a relatively short period of time, by the time you're 28, not even 30, by the time you're 28, you're going to have multiple millions of dollars, where even if you don't make it into the league, you're still going to be a multi-millionaire, and you should be set for the rest of your life if done correctly. Like, this NIL money is to the point now, like, if done correctly, you don't even got to go to the league. You can be set
for real
for the rest of your life just based off of decisions that you make from NIL money when you're 18, 19 years old.
Yeah,
and it helps. Go ahead, Troy.
I'm just saying we got to take into account that he's not coming from like any school. Like, he was at North Carolina where he got NIL money as well. But there's a big difference in state tax when you leave from North Carolina to New York.
For sure.
Especially when you're playing in New York City. And so having somebody on your team like a CPA that can explain that to you, because it's a lot of money. And this is a hometown kid. This is like, you know what I mean? Like, I think the best advice on top of everything that you said is that you got to realize everybody can't come with you on this journey.
And on top of that, there's a lot of conversations. Shout out to Red Panda Sports and players and the owners one game at a time. Yada yada. The politics of the business that you're in, the NBA, NFL, that's why the investment part is so important. There's no reason, because it's not talked about. There is a system for you to get those big contracts and for people to steal that money away from you. Tim Duncan comes to mind. I'm glad KG recovered. Sebastian Telfair comes to mind. Like, there's a lot of people I've met that have made 30 and 40 and they have 2 million left. And everyone wants to blame it on the entourage. No one ever talks about the financial syndicate that is the entourage that takes all the money away.
It's a fact. That's a fact,
like,
man.
Everyone like, yo, if y'all quit hanging with 20 people, what about the 20 financial people that's on the team that is feeing you to death 2 to 3% of the time? 2 to 3% with 20 people adds up.
That is a fact.
That's a fact.
That's a fact. And the thing about, I'm gonna give you guys some game outside of the usual conversation that we speak about on Market Mondays. A DIA is a deferred income annuity. So if you're getting money, if you're getting a lump sum of money, especially when you're young, put a portion of that into a DIA, because what that does is that grows over the course of time, then you take income from it. So like Allen Iverson, right? Everybody always talks about like his legendary deal that he did with Reebok and how he's going to be getting like I think maybe he started this year.
When he turns 50.
Yeah, I think 50. He'll probably be 50 soon. But whenever he turns 50, he gets like $1 million a year for the rest of his life. That's because when he structured that first deal, he had a good advisor, somebody on the team that actually said, okay, we're going to put a portion of this away into the deal. So you can't spend it. Obviously, people, he had spending habits. So it's forced savings that grew over the course of time. And now let's say you put $1 million in and you wait till you're 40 years old, that $1 million is going to be $10 million right now. You draw income off of that 10 million for the rest of your life. Bobby Bonilla, a lot of these sports contracts, that lump sum was put into an annuity that grew over the course of time, tax deferred, by the way. And then now that provides a lifetime income. And depending on what type of annuity it is, you can actually have some guarantees on it. So it's like an insurance-based product. So it's not as risky as just having it in the stock market. So that's something that, like I said, if you hit the lottery, if you have a lawsuit, if you again, NIL money, sports, any lump sum, any type of thing where you get a lump sum at a relatively young age, I would definitely at the very least look into it, educate yourself on a DIA, DIA, deferred income annuity that you can put money into and you can draw income down the line.
Yeah, so Iverson is going to receive from his Reebok deal $800,000 a year annually, and he will have access to 32 million at 55. So he's 49 now. So when he's 55, he'll have access to that 32 million.
And then some people be like, I want my money right now. It's a portion. Like, you gotta have portions. You gotta layer it out.
Look,
nobody's gonna be mad at saying, okay, I got 30 million waiting for me in 15 years.
Yeah, look, I mean, a good case study would, if you watch sports and study sports, look at what the Los Angeles Dodgers have done.
Yep.
Deferring contracts. Shohei Ohtani deferred 600 million, 650 million deferred.
You gotta say, sometimes in life, you gotta save people from themselves. Like I said, disrespect to Allen Iverson, he's one of the greatest that ever did it. But of course, he has financial problems, right? Like, you go through a divorce and then you have issues that come, and it's just like you get money at a young age. And sometimes as an advisor or as a parent, you have to save people from themselves. That's important.
Or the team that is put around them to take all the money away. Like, I would love to see from the time he was drafted in 96 to when they went to the finals, what did the value of the 76ers increase, and then how much he made in jersey sales. Because if I don't put a plan in place and I allow you to go, everyone doesn't operate as a fiduciary, but there's a lot of teams that profit from the destruction of an athlete.
Of course.
It's not talked about.
Yeah, and they're going to leech off of them until it's the next athlete.
Yep.
And then rinse and repeat, year after year, decade after decade.
And then some more game for you is that if you have a business manager, so there's few different things here. There's the agent who works out contracts, stuff like that. Then there's a business manager who is actually more on the financial side, right? The business manager, it would be better to have them on salary as opposed to them getting percentages of the deal.
Percentage. Hello.
Like,
Hold on. Say it again. That's the gem of the day.
gotta
It's
put
gonna
them on
save you
salary.
millions.
Facts. You gotta put them on salary.
Yep.
And that's something that even Steve Harvey spoke about on his conversation with us, because you got, especially in Hollywood, now going to Hollywood, you got an agent, you got a business manager, you got the talent manager, you got the financial advisor, you
Lawyer.
got the CPA, you got
Yep.
the so, and all these people are taking percentages. And it might seem small, 4%, 5%, it adds up, especially
It
you
adds
dealing
up
with
quickly.
millions of dollars. Like you, before you know it, 35% is out the door. That's before taxes. Now you got to pay
Taxes, yeah.
taxes. So now you giving away 60, 70% of your money. Now you understand why people can actually go broke. 30% of your money is going to tax. 35% of your money is going to taxes. Then you got 30% going to all of these other people that I just named. Then we're not even talking about all of the lifestyle as far as, your cars, your house. Then you got, child support. You got all of these things. Now, before you know it, you're in the red. So
And you may not have your IP.
exactly. Yeah. So it's better
It's a
to
lot to
structure
go.
it.
Yeah.
If you could put people on salary, because then also when you put them on salary, it's tax deductible for you because you're paying them. Make sure that they fill out their W-9 forms, right? Now you're paying them as a employee, independent contractor, however you set it up. But now that's tax deductible to you as a business entity. Set up your business entity, your LLC, your S corp, your C corp. You got to do it. You just can't go into this just thinking that you just talent. That's how you're gonna get taken advantage of.
Everything.
Yeah. And Money Master the Game, one of the things that had a great impact on me was the fee structure, that if you have other people invest for you, right? But no one talks about it on the talent or entertainment side or business side. Like great point Rashad made to put everybody on salary. Because even if you're starting out as a beginner entrepreneur and you're saying, hey, do this business with me, you get 50%, I get 50%, it's a recipe for disaster. You have to count up all the fees and percentages that you're paying in a year. If you're an artist, tour manager, and then also too, like even let's say for us, you may have to enter a deal with somebody, then they don't even want to give you your data. Like it's theft across the board. And then they'll say, well, you're tough to work with. No, I don't want to be robbed. No, you're going to take 20% and I don't get my data. And no, then you're going to cross collateralize what I built with something. And be mindful, because you'll look up in 10 or 15 years and you'll be paying 20 or 30 different people a bunch of percentages. And if you're averaging 12 or 15% return, you're in the negative. So, but that's all I got to say about that.
You have it. That's $1 million worth of gain for you.
For sure. And breaking news last night, the Japanese Prime Minister Ishiba says Japan's financial situation is worse than the Greece situation. Scary times.
The Greek situation oh wow.
Yes. No one saying a word.
Wow.
Like there's things on a chessboard financially worldwide. I forgot who said it, but there was like, for all parties involved, India, United States, China, it is best for us to all get along, because the real world war is going to be like the collapse that happens in all of the markets if we don't find a way to get along. We need each other. And I like each other.
Can we all just get along?
For real.
Reginald Denny said that. No, was that Rodney King?
That was Rodney King.
King. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace to Rodney King.
Yeah.